Yo, what's good YouTube? It's boardzy, and this is going to be a groundbreaking, game-changing video that has been really years in the making. For years now, I've wanted to make a best gaming mice for women video, but I am not a woman. I don't really have expertise in women's gaming mice, but finally the stars have aligned. For the uninitiated amongst you, a Valorant Game Changers event has just concluded, which is a Valorant event designed for women and other marginalized genders. The reason I don't include that in the video title is because YouTube doesn't allow that many characters, and it's just not quite as catchy. But yeah, that was the event. They had like a 500k prize pool total. I say they could throw them like double that, maybe. I don't know how much the co-ed league makes. But yeah, politics aside, this video is going to focus on the gaming mice used by the Shopify Rebellion team. I think that's an interesting name. They played against the Team Liquid Brazilian ladies roster, and I'm not going to focus too much on the losers peripherals because let's be real, they lost for a reason. They were using a lot of Vaxi, Zowie mice, a few GPXs, but the North American winners, that's who we're going to focus on. And first up we have Mel, who is right here, and they actually did not show her mouse at any point during the finals because she was in a COVID quarantine room. She wasn't able to celebrate on the stage after they won. They had like this muffled mic through the mask. It was honestly just an incredible sight to see, but Breakdown on Twitter somehow got word of her mouse. I mean, I think she was using this earlier in the event, but it was a Viper VG Pro, and overall, this is just a typical base setup that I would recommend. Saturn Pro is obviously one of the top control pads on the market, and I believe everybody on their team had a Wooting 60HE. That keyboard just has a lock on pro play just on many games. Nobody seems to have like any problem with the Wooting. So yeah, all of the items in this setup have the seal of approval, and that's obviously where you want to be, whether you're a man, woman, anything. You want to be buying products with the boardzy seal of approval. Next up on the team is Sarah Frags, who I remember from like 2020 in the Kovacs scene and like Call of Duty target switching clips, who is now apparently one of the best female Valorant players, is also using a Razer Viper V2 Pro on a Lethal Gaming Gear Saturn Pro. Are we beginning to notice a trend? I mean, it might be too early, but I might flat out say that the Viper V2 Pro is the best mouse for women on the market. I'm thinking like what could be the reasons for that. It's obviously a very lightweight, a much flatter shape than something like the GPX, which is the other flagship mouse. It's going against none of the women besides a few on Liquid were using ergo mice, especially not something large like a Death Adder V3 Pro. So this really might just be one of the better shapes for women, but this thought was disproven when I saw that another player on the team, Noia, I believe it is pronounced, I thought it was Noia, which sounds a lot more like elegant. Noia is like two very brutish sounds, but none of that matters. She is using a GPX on what I heard was a Hien Soft, or a Hien X Soft even, so truly breaking the barriers using an artisan mousepad. And I believe this has to be a GPX 1 because I don't think the GPX 2 has launched in pink yet. She's once again using a Wooting with like a very interesting keyboard position. And yeah, the Hien in Valorant is pretty based. Hien GPX combo, that's obviously a classic. I don't think anybody has had a peripheral that does not have the boardzy seal of approval yet. And yeah, next up's going to be Alexis, and she was rocking a G-Wolves Hot ES Plus 4K, but this is actually their unreleased G-Wolves 8K dongle, which Fluorescent also had, but then that mouse, like, I don't know, they told her to stop using it or something. There is a lot of mouse trauma, which we will get to, but yeah, the Hot ES Plus, pretty based. That could also be a potential good shape for women because it is a shorter claw grip base shape. Like, it's not as big as something like a GPX. But yeah, she's using a Logitech G640, and that obviously does have the boardzy seal of disapproval. But there is the argument, I know some pro players just use like a fresh G640 or just like a fresh GSRSE because the main issue with that pad is going to be inconsistency in wear. But if you pretty much have a new copy every time you use it, it's not going to be that bad. But everybody else on the team was either using a Lethal Gaming Gear Saturn or an artisan pad, so she really needs to catch up when it comes to mouse pads, in my humble opinion. Of course, I'm nobody to tell a woman what to do. And last but not least is going to be Fluorescent, the MVP of the tournament. You can hear my dog going crazy out there. He's a big Fluorescent fan. But she was using a HTX at the beginning of the tournament, but at some point they were like, hey, you got to stop using this HTX. I'll show the whole like mouse inspection, and then from that point she had to use a Pulsar X2 Mini with a 4K dongle. So just very based peripherals all around. Like I said, I don't think any peripheral in this video is not like like top of the line, doesn't have the boardzy seal of approval. Yeah, I really wonder what caused Riot or the tournament organizers. I don't really know who did it, but somebody came, inspected the mouse, and was like, you can't use it anymore. So I really wonder what the reason for that was. Were there cheats on the mouse? Was she just too goated? Is it G-Wolf's 8K? Was it fucking up? Was it like stuttering? I don't know. But the Pulsar X2 Mini is another very based mouse with the 4K dongle. So yeah, just everything in this video is high performance. There's really not much to criticize or say like where they could improve peripherals wise. And yeah, for the 8% of my audience, which is female, I think these mice should give you guys a real, or you gals, a great idea of what is going to work for you. It seems like these flatter shapes like the Viper V2 Pro, the HTX, and some of these like smaller claw grip shapes in general just seem to be a go. Anything above a GPX in terms of size does not seem to be common. I'm not going to say it won't work, but yeah, basically smaller mice seem to be the meta for women, or just like flatter shapes in general. If you enjoyed this groundbreaking video, which I'm just so happy that I was able to finally make sure to leave a like, subscribe for more mouse reviews in the future. But that's really all I have to say. I'm going to be interested to see the comments on this one. Peace out.